Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets and drama. We all know that Drag Race is called the Olympics of Drag, and with all the different physically demanding challenges that happen on the show, it's not hard to imagine that many of the queens have been injured over the years, and some of the injuries are well known, but some others are not. So today we're going to be talking about 7 queens who got injured while filming RuPaul's Drag Race. This includes Madame LaQueer, Shangela, and Miz Cracker. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. Please note that because we're going to be talking about the outcome of certain episodes of Drag Race, there is a spoiler alert in place for this video. Madame LaQueer. Madame LaQueer competed on season 4 of Drag Race US and placed 10th. Madame had a relatively short run on the show after being eliminated in episode 4, but she won a mini challenge in episode 4 and a maxi challenge in episode 2, which means that she had the shortest run of any main challenge winner in Drag Race US history. In episode 2 of season 4, the queens had to compete in the WTF Wrestling's Trashiest Fighters challenge, and Madame was partnered with Chad Michaels. At the beginning of the episode, Madame mentioned that she had a previous ankle injury.
There's something very important. I had a previous injury in my right ankle. I hurt my right ankle doing a show. I didn't saw the step and my ankle goes click and suddenly I couldn't walk.
But then seemed to suggest that the injury was not that big of a deal.
Don't worry about my ankle.
I am going to worry about it because it's important. If your ankle's hurting and you can't do something, you need to let me know because I can't read your mind.
And this moment became a bit of a meme, and when you search for Madame LaQueer on Google, the ankle click is one of the first things that comes up. And later in the episode, they show Madame during rehearsal for the challenge hurting herself. However, she seemed to be okay after that and then went on to win the challenge with Chad Michaels. And some Drag Race queens have even joked that Madame LaQueer was the original ankle injury queen. And it appears as though the ankle injury was not the only injury that Madame has had. In a 2014 interview with Abby Normal, Madame was asked what the scariest thing that's ever happened to her in drag is. And Madame said, quote, "I live in Puerto Rico, can I make a list? I've been mugged in drag, stopped by a policeman, broken my left wrist and twisted my right ankle. I have more." And Madame's ankle injury went on to become one of the defining moments of her time on Drag Race. Shangela. Shangela competed on season 2 of Drag Race US, but was eliminated first, and then famously came back in a box to compete again in season 3. And she then went on to compete in All Stars 3, making it to the final 4. One of the most memorable things about Shangela's run on Drag Race is the lip sync she did in episode 2 of season 3 against Venus Delight. They both fell in the bottom in the design challenge episode called The Queen Who Mopped Christmas, where the contestants had to make seasonal outfits using Christmas-themed materials. The lip sync has gone down as one of the most awkward lip syncs, as both contestants pushed each other around and were overall a bit messy. And at one point, Venus threw her ponytail at the queens standing at the back of the stage. And this even led to RuPaul saying after the lip sync that it made her uncomfortable. But what you may not know is that Shangela apparently got cut during the lip sync and was bleeding. Although I couldn't find an official source to confirm this, there have been several rumours that Shangela cut herself on some shards of glass from the baubles from her outfit. And apparently Shangela had to have medical attention to get the shards of glass taken out of her. And if we look at the stage during the lip sync, we can see lots of debris on the stage from the queen's outfits. And at the start of the lip sync, Shangela is wearing some bauble earrings, and after the lip sync, she isn't wearing them anymore, which does support the rumour. Eureka. Eureka originally competed on season 9 of Drag Race US, but was sent home in episode 5 due to her ankle injury. And she then came back to compete in season 10 and then later in All Stars 6. When you think of queens who got injured on Drag Race, Eureka is probably one of the first ones you'd think of, as she was the first queen to ever be eliminated due to an injury. During the episode 2 cheerleading challenge on season 9, Eureka did a cartwheel and said that when she landed, her knee popped, but she continued doing the routine. In an interview with Vulture from April 2017, Eureka said that after the cheerleading challenge, her knee continued to swell, and one of the production team said that she needed to go to the hospital to get it checked out. Eureka explained that she went to the hospital and had an MRI scan, but the results took a week to arrive, so she continued filming the show in the meantime and started to use crutches. When the MRI results came back, it turned out that Eureka had completely torn her ACL, otherwise known as the anterior cruciate ligament, and Eureka had to have surgery. In episode 5, after the bottom 2 lip sync between Cynthia Lee Fontaine and Pheromone, RuPaul left the judges' table unexpectedly and no one knew what was happening, and then Ru returned. Ru then called Eureka forward and said that the doctors had said that Eureka needed to leave the competition to have medical treatment, but she had an open invitation to return for season 10. Some people have wondered over the years if this moment was scripted and whether Eureka knew what was going to happen. However, according to Eureka in the interview with Vulture, she had no idea. Eureka said that when she got called forward by RuPaul, quote, "I thought she was going to be like, actually you're up for elimination. Or there was going to be some crazy twist like, I hear you and Farrah are friends, can you be her crutch on crutches? Or I had maybe done something that disqualified me, I just was paranoid at that moment." And Eureka also said that when she left, the director came up to her backstage and told her that they knew that Eureka would want to stay in the competition even if it was dangerous for her health, which is the reason why production didn't ask her what she wanted to do, and instead they decided to let the doctor make the decision for her. Eureka also said that her injury was an insurance liability for the show, and for legal reasons they couldn't allow an injured contestant to stay in the competition. Ultimately, after surgery and physiotherapy, Eureka's knee healed and she came back for season 10 and placed runner-up. Miz Cracker. Miz Cracker competed on season 10 of Drag Race US and placed 5th, and then came back for All Stars 5 and placed 2nd/3rd. Miz Cracker had a good run on both of her seasons, getting one Maxi Challenge win in season 10 for the Makeover Challenge, and she also racked up 3 Maxi Challenge wins in All Stars 5. What you may not know, though, is that Miz Cracker broke her toe shortly before going to film season 10, but she kept it a secret and didn't tell anyone because she was afraid of being recast/eliminated. Miz Cracker first revealed this during her YouTube show, Review with a Jew, where she explained the story.
I'm finally gonna say this. Right before I left for filming the show, I broke one of my toes. So for this entire season, when I'm standing in a critique, I'm standing on a broken foot. But nothing hurts more than hearing another queen get positive feedback.
And then, in a tweet the next day, Miz Cracker explained why she didn't say anything about her toe and said, "I actually didn't mention my broken toe because I didn't want them to Eureka me and send me home." And so it's impressive to think that throughout each of her performances in season 10, including her elimination lip sync, Miz Cracker was doing that with a broken toe and no one from the show ever knew anything about it. Juicy Couture. Juicy Couture competed on Drag Race Holland Season 2 and was eliminated in the first episode. During her lip sync against Reggie B to the song Physical by Dua Lipa, Juicy walked to the back of the stage and then did a knee slide. When the lip sync finished, they zoomed in on Juicy's knees and you could see that the stones on her tights had actually cut her knees and she was bleeding. When I interviewed Juicy on my channel, I asked her about this and she explained that she didn't notice her injury at first and off-screen the production staff made her go to get first aid. However, Juicy said that she refused first aid and just did it herself. And Juicy even made a joke about her injury during her exit.
En Juicy, je hebt het begrip Blood Diamonds wel een hele andere dimensie. Ja, precies, meid. Er zit een diamant in je knie nu.
Dat noem ik nou Glamour Hospital.
And this is just one of a long list of injuries that has happened during Drag Race lip syncs in multiple franchises. Kornbread. Kornbread competed on season 14 of Drag Race US and placed 12th after leaving in episode 5 due to an ankle injury. Kornbread had been doing well throughout the season and was actually one of the favourites to win the season. However, she shockingly left the competition in episode 5 and explained via a video message that she had injured her ankle and could no longer continue with the competition. And the reason why Kornbread's departure from the show was so shocking was that her injury was never addressed on camera up until that point, unlike with previous contestants such as Eureka. So the audience didn't know anything about the injury until it was suddenly brought up in episode 5. In an interview with Mira Mangle on YouTube, Kornbread explained that her injury actually happened off camera. Kornbread said that people always think that her injury happened when she rolled off a table during the episode 4 Super Tease challenge. But in fact, the injury actually happened during episode 1 off camera, and she rolled on her ankle and just decided to shake it off and continue. But Kornbread said that during the Super Tease challenge, she had to do a lot of physical activities, such as pretending to run, which made her already injured ankle worse. Kornbread said that when she went back to her hotel that night, when she got up to go to the bathroom during the night, her ankle had swollen to twice the size and she was unable to walk. So she saw a doctor who said that it would need around 6 to 8 weeks to heal, which is why Kornbread had to leave the competition. And Mira asked whether it was Kornbread's decision to leave, and Kornbread said that it was her decision but also the doctor's decision due to the severity of the injury. And in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Kornbread said that after the show, she injured the same ankle for a second time, and it was actually her season 14 sister, Maddie Morphosis, who helped her. Kornbread said, quote, "We were going to the gig and I rush, and I was walking out the house, literally there were no stairs in front of my door, I was on unsupportive shoes, and I rolled my ankle again. It was the same exact sensation that I felt on the first episode." Kornbread then went on to say that she managed to make it to the gig and was running on adrenaline, but said that after the show she took off her shoes and was not able to walk. Kornbread also said, quote, "Maddie was there luckily for that day and got me through, helping me, putting my heel up and doing all my little walking and stuff for me. But yeah, it's the same ankle, so it's a bit weaker than usual." Willam. Willam competed in season 4 of Drag Race US and ultimately placed 7th after being disqualified in episode 8. It's well known by now that the reason the show gave for Willam's disqualification, which was that she was receiving conjugal visits from her husband, was actually a lie. And the truth was that Willam actually wanted to get kicked off Drag Race because she had another job booked, and so she wanted to leave Drag Race to go and do that job, which was a musical at the New York Fringe Festival. However, what you may not know is that Willam actually fractured her wrist on Drag Race, but didn't realise it until long after filming. In an Instagram post from 2017, Willam said that 90 days after filming season 4, she went to the doctor and an X-ray showed that she had a badly healed wrist fracture. Willam explained that it happened during the wrestling challenge in episode 2, which is the same challenge where Madame LaQueer also got hurt. And Willam has previously said on her podcast that in that particular challenge, the queens were not given adequate health and safety training, which is why several queens got injured during that challenge. Willam also explained in the Instagram post that at the time when the injury happened, she knew that something was wrong, but she was actually discouraged from going to the hospital by a member of production. So Willam just decided to keep going in the competition, but stopped doing push-ups and working out for the rest of the month that she was in the competition. But Willam doesn't seem to have mentioned anything about the fractured wrist since then. So, there you go, there were 7 queens who got injured during the filming of RuPaul's Drag Race. I do have some more injuries that I could talk about, so let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make a part 2 of this video. So, did you know about any of these injuries before? And which one was the most surprising to you? Let me know in the comments. Please make sure you like, comment and share this video as it really helps support my channel. And of course, please make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date about new uploads. Thanks for watching and I hope you'll join me again in future videos. Thank you, bye!